Hey guys, welcome back to the Disc Golf Show. This is episode 19 of the 2025 season. Today is September 23rd of 2025. This podcast is brought to you in part by our beloved local pro shop, Final Nine Sports. They have two locations in the Northern California area, one in Orangevale and one in Rocklin. We always suggest to go support your local pro shop. However, if you go there and you do not find what you are looking for, we have a remedy. Go to discgolfdealsusa.com/discgolfshow for 10% off your order. So big shout out to our other sponsor, Disc Golf Deals USA. They are also a sponsor of the Disc Golf Pro Tour. So big shout out to them for that. But yeah, some exclusions apply, but most everything on there you can get 10% off. Let's jump into the news. We'll go over a few things pretty quickly here because I'm sure you've already heard about these things. Some of the things maybe you haven't. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this because you've probably definitely most likely heard this. Kristin Latt steps away from disc golf, competing professionally in disc golf to concentrate on family. Nothing but respect for that decision. It'll be a massive hole while she's gone. She says she's not finishing out this season and she has no plans for next season. Does that mean she won't be back next season? No. But small percentage that she'll be back next season. Now, she does say that she will still be involved with disc golf in some fashion, so we do look forward to what that looks like. And we do hope to see her back in the professional competition, competitive aspect. So nothing but respect for her decision. It's her life. She's got to be able to manage. She's probably spread out too thin, and it's starting to show, and she's got to address those areas. So nothing but love. Will be definitely missed because I think she's a great representative for disc golf, and not only disc golf in general, but personally, I have two girls. I think she's an ideal athlete, person in general, to look up to and aspire to be like. The way she carries herself, the way she interviews, the way she just across the board, she's an amazing representative for our beloved sport. Also, what does it look like and how she's going to be involved in disc golf? Is that going to be solely on the European side, or will it be just in the in the background? Either way, she will be missed competitively, but we do hope that we will see her back on the course in the future. We do want to mention Jordan Lynds. So if you do not follow them, go check them out. The Lynds Twins, Lynds Twins. They trash talk each other a lot in their videos. It's fun. They're up and coming professional FPO players. And just a shout out to Jordan. She's recovering from a surgery where she had some cysts removed. It sounds like she's got a 6 to 8 week recovery, and we hope that goes smoothly. And we hope to see her back on the course in 2026, stronger than ever, being able to battle with her sister. Shout out to Ezra Robinson. He mentioned that he recently got engaged. And big shout out to Ezra and Jessica, which is his now fiance. So congratulations on that. We do have a new highest rated 12-year-old, and that is Taaniel Mehine from Estonia. That is a rated 12-year-old rated at 995 now. And also that rating of 995 puts them in a tie in junior 15 division. So, those are names that you're going to be wanting to pay attention in the future. Few announcements, few news-related things from the PDGA. If you're looking at running an A-tier event, that request form for 2026 is now available, so go get that registered. You have a new simplified rules of disc golf that was announced by PDGA, and that is for basically newcomers and kind of like funner events to try to introduce the basics of disc golf and not be so overwhelming with the full aspect of the competition rules and all that stuff. So go check that out. PDGA also announced an increase for the European Pro members fees, and that went from 30 to 40, but the AM fees are still staying at 20. So if that's going to affect you as a pro over in Europe, just know that it's increasing for the pro membership fees from 30 to 40 bucks or pounds, whatever it is. Also, they announced that not only are the A-tier request form not only is the A-tier request form available, but now they've announced that the 2027-2028 major bid packages are available. So go check those out. See if your local area, your city, your clubs, your courses would be capable of managing a major event for the 2027-2028 seasons. Shout out to Paul McBeth Foundation. They recently announced their most recent project, 5.4, which is going to be in Kigali, Rwanda. That is an 18-hole course that is going to be installed in Kigali Forest, which is just under 6 kilometers south of downtown Kigali. And the land that was provided to them was actually provided by the military. So a new course in a new area. Big shout out to Paul McBeth Foundation. Not only with that, but also in combination with UDisc. Just this last Saturday, we had the Throw for More event. That is where you could pledge money per hole, per round, a flat fee in support of somebody that is registered there. And their goal initially was $15,000. They kept having to up that goal as it got closer to Saturday. And they ended up raising, last I checked, just moments ago, just short of $70,000. So big shout out to everybody out there who played some disc golf on Saturday and was able to raise some funds. That is an amazing thing. Hopefully we see this every year. That would be really, really cool to see. The most recent tournament that just happened is the first playoff event that was at the Green Mountain Championships. Couple things of note is during press conference, I tend to watch these things. You know me, I do a lot of constructive criticism on here. I'm not trying to make anybody feel bad. I just talk about things that I see and wanted to mention. I think as much as Silva Salonen is an amazing athlete and player, she either needs interview coaching or she needs a ton more experience in front of the camera. Because as much as I love her play and as much as she's probably a perfectly fun person to hang out with and everything, her interviews can be rough to watch. I hope to see them get better in the future. But man, like some of those, sometimes it's just, I feel bad, not only for the interviewee, but the interviewer, because when you're not getting feedback, it's tough to figure out questions that you want to talk that may get that person more engaged. So it's just something that I noticed, and I hate to point those things out when it comes to specific people, but I do what needs to be done. Brian Earhart did mention something about Evelina Salonen discussing the possibility of quitting in the future, near future. Hopefully that is not, hopefully that was a fleeting thought in her mind, because we know that she's had struggles in the past with putting, and it looked like she remedied those this last year and these last couple years, but it looks as though those, not yips, I guess yips, are coming back a little bit. And she's mentioned that she's working on a new putt. So we do hope that she dials that in more, because we know she has more than enough competitive experience and capabilities to stay at the top. And she makes it exciting because she's one of the longest throwers in FPO. So we hope she does not go anywhere. Ricky Wysocki was late to one of his rounds. He mentioned, that, he takes responsibility for that and all that. And, as long as he's taken responsibility for it, that's a non-news for me. People are late. Do you like to see it? No. Do you expect to see it? No. Does it happen? Yes, even to the best, obviously. So let's move on from that. He'll just, I'm sure it's a lesson learned for him moving forward. The last constructive criticism I really want to give here is card intros. When they were announcing the card intros, the announcer was taking a bit too long for my taste. I get what he's trying to do, build it up, but for viewing purposes, when you're watching it live, as well as probably the players there, the athletes, it looked like sometimes when it panned to them, they were just like, okay, let's get this going. I want to throw. The intro, just at least be a little live, just so that the quick intro to the event. I don't need to know all the sponsors. I don't need to know every single little bit of information involving the event. Announce those players and get them off the tee. But again, like I said, just a personal thing. This was almost like a throwback event because we had Paige Pierce win, who came back from a 6-stroke deficit in the final round to do a 3-way playoff. And first hole, she wins. So Paige Pierce wins, and I think it's the 15th year in a row that she's won a DGPT event or big event. And then we also had Paul McBeth get his second win this year. We're seeing Paul more dialed in and more consistent throughout events and not coming up short in that last event. And it's good to see, but it was kind of like a throwback. We had a Paige Pierce, Paul McBeth both win at the Green Mountain Championships. But yeah, let's move on to, actually, before we move on, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, click that like button, whatever it is you want to do. It's all appreciated. Let's move on to disc golf conversation. Basically, the question I want to pose to you guys is, do you think disc golf would be where it is without Paul McBeth? I could go on a diatribe about the reasons why I think it wouldn't, but I'm sure you don't want to hear that. He's done more for the sport outside of disc golf than anybody else. I mean, I'll just leave it at that because there's so many aspects in which that applies. But to you, if you don't think that he was a massive effect and you think it would be where it is, how or why? And if you do think it is because of him, what other aspects, obviously I didn't mention a ton, but what aspects do you think were most influential from Paul to get disc golf where it is? You know, contract related, term of contract related, growth in courses, just where else? Where else do you think it is? Let us know down below. We'll move on to gear and equipment here. We did have some things that were approved. Big shout out to the sponsor of this segment, and that is Disc Golf Deals USA. Again, go to discgolfdealsusa.com/discgolfshow. Get that 10% off. Some exclusions do apply. Approved September 15th. There were 3 discs approved. One was from Good Tree Disc Golf. I think it's their second mold that was approved, and it's called the Knot, K-N-O-T. We also had 2 discs approved from Axiom, and that is the Bokeh and the Aspect. And we know these to be Simon Line discs. They're molds. The Bokeh is a fairway driver. The Aspect is a distance driver. And those 3 were approved on September 15th. Moving on to yesterday, September 22nd, we had a total of 5 discs and 1 target approved. So that target being from DGA, Disc Golf Association, the Mach 2 Pro, which is a basic target. So that's a new target coming to the market. And then we had, as for the discs, we had the Maple from Above Ground Level, which is also known as AGL. We had 2 discs approved from Grassland Discs. That is the Blue Winged Teal and the Mallard. Those both look to be mid-ranges from their flight numbers. The Discraft Halix, or in parentheses, the RW-0925-D. To me, that looks like a Ricky Wysocki driver. And then Doomsday Discs, the Dread. So those are your recently approved discs from PDGA. Outside of that, we did have some recent upcoming releases from MVP Discs, and those are the Tales of Terror discs. Those are those sets that they do for Halloween. And those discs are going to be the Eagle McMahon Ohm, the Silva Saarinen Insanity, the James Conrad Trail. These are tough. You're not going to be able to see the stamp if I get it closer, maybe. Oh, there we go. Let's go back. I want to show you guys these. These are sweet. So the Eagle McMahon Ohm, the Silva Saarinen Insanity, the James Conrad Trail, the Jeremy Colling Hex, and the Simon Lizotte Fireball. So if you're an MVP fan, go check those out. Those are recent releases. In addition to that, we do know footwear is one of the most important parts of your play out on the course. And we always suggest go check out Vessi Shoes. Our affiliate link is down below. In addition to that, everybody has their personal preference. You got Ideo Sports, and that they have the Syncrasy Evo, which is their low top. and the Brawler, which is their high top. So if you are looking or in the market for some new shoes, go check out Vessi or Idio. Let's move on to Ken's fantasy segment. Ken's still beating everybody. That's no surprise there. But we do have a couple events left this year. So one of those events is September, this coming weekend, the 25th to the 28th, is the 2025 MVP Open. That is a DGPT playoff event. That is Leicester, Massachusetts. And then also on another tour, October 3rd, there's the Go Throw Tour Championship. Highland Brewing Play and Fans Invitational. And that is going to be held in Asheville, North Carolina. So go check those out if you are in those areas. Support your local courses and events coming through. Move on to product review, mailbag. One thing I did want to say is I just noticed not only the Tales of Terror discs that they announced, MVP did announce a recent new net, practice net, and it's called the Event Horizon. Really cool because it's not just a net with some holes in it. It actually has a basket-shaped target built into the net. So now you have an actual visual that's familiar for you in disc golf. And it looks like the size and layout of it is correct height and all that stuff. Very the dimensions look comparable to a normal basket. So that is a recent product that was announced by MVP Disc Sports, and down in the description will be that link. One video that I think you should check out is the final round of the Green Mountain Championship for both FPO and MPO, because not only with FPO, like we discussed, you had Paige Pierce make a comeback, but in MPO, you had a battle all the way down to the end, basically down to 17. And it was fun to watch because that lead went back and forth a bit between mostly Cole Redolin and Paul McBeth. It was very, very fun. I would highly suggest go watch the post-production via Jomez. Go check that out. And now that brings us to, this is the shortest episode I think I've ever done, to the outro. Now, I did want to make note, and I didn't do it at the beginning of the show, which I wanted to, and I was cruising through a little bit too fast. If you do notice, this is a solo show. We've got to say goodbye to Justin. Unfortunately. Understandably, but unfortunately. Justin has a passion outside of the disc golf show, and that is audiobook narration. We all know he has the voice for it. We all know he has the capability for it, and I wish nothing but the best for him. Maybe I did. Did I mention that at the beginning of the show? Maybe I did. If I didn't, or if I did, it does not matter. I'm repeating it right now. If you want to support him, he does do like live streams and such via different socials. He does it via YouTube, and he has his Instagram and his Facebook and all these other things, Twitter and all that. But if you do want to support him, go to 4fife6.com. So it's the number 4, F-I-F-E, the number 6.com, and go support him. You know, I could listen to him as I fall asleep. He's got a great voice. So, you know, it's a big passion of his, and he's making that investment in himself, and I wish nothing but the best for him. He knows that. No hard feelings here. But you're stuck with me, guys. So, again, thank you, Justin, for everything that you've done over the years since we started back in 2013. And, you know, I'm here for you either way. As for the outro, again, if you're in the market for a disc golf bag, we still do have a code for Upper Park Disc Golf. So if you are looking for a new bag, go check them out. You can use code Disc Golf Show and get 15% off of your purchase. You can also go to Disc Golf Deals USA. Again, discgolfdealsusa.com/Disc Golf Show. You can get 10% off your entire purchase. Some exclusions do apply. Usually those exclusions, just to let you know, are new releases from like MVP and Axiom and such. But everything else is up for grabs, 10% off. Big shout out to our partial sponsor, main sponsor, Final Nine Sports, our local pro shop. Again, they have 2 locations, one in Orangevale and one in Rocklin here in Northern California. If you do have any questions or anything, you can email us at theshow@discgolfshow.com or discgolfshow@gmail.com. Or if you have hate mail, nick@discgolfshow.com. But any suggestions, any requests, you can send them there. And yeah, guys, I guess one last time for Justin. Hit that subscribe button, that notification bell for future videos. Hit that like button. And for Justin and Ken was not here today either. He had some technical difficulties, but that's okay. For Justin, myself, and Ken, in disc golf, as in life, aim high and let it fly. All right, guys, have a good one.